Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Explainer. So as a lead automation engineer, I literally spend my days looking for ways to make systems smarter, faster, and, just much more scalable. And I am absolutely thrilled to have you back with us today. We have a really specific, really fun goal for this session. We are going to upgrade that basic RSS workflow we started with, and we're turning it into a true, real-time, enterprise-grade data engine. That's right, we're taking the whole thing to the next level by pulling in live events. So, are you ready to supercharge your automation? Okay, let's just dive straight into this. Here is our quick roadmap for today's explainer. We'll start off with a recap and look at the limits of RSS. Then we'll demystify the API waiter concept. After that, we'll introduce the SERP API, configure our HTTP request, merge our data together, and finally, take a look at that beautiful final newsletter transformation. All right, kicking things off with Section 1, Recap and RSS Limitations. Remember in Part 1, we built a pretty incredible foundation, an automated workflow, pulling data straight from RSS feeds. But, well, RSS kind of has a reality check attached to it. It has its limits. Think of it like being stuck in a bubble. It only pushes out what publishers actively choose to share, and you are strictly limited to the sources you manually subscribe to. But over on the other side, that's the live internet. We're talking current weather, real-time event discovery, live stock prices, stuff that's happening right this exact second across every website on the planet. To build a truly scalable, dynamic intelligence tool, we really have to break free from the constraints of RSS and just tap right into the live web. Which brings us to Section 2, Understanding the API Waiter. So before we even touch our software or write a single parameter, we need a messenger to actually talk to that live internet. And that messenger is called an API, which stands for Application Programming Interface. In the absolute simplest terms, an API is just how applications interact with each other to request and deliver data. Honestly, it is the universal language of enterprise automation. But, to make this crystal clear, let's look at a real-world example. Think about it like this. When you go to a nice restaurant, you don't just march right into the kitchen, start chopping the vegetables, and cook the food yourself, right? No. You talk to the waiter. It's a 3-step process. Step 1, you tell the waiter, our API, exactly what you want. Step 2, the waiter goes back to the kitchen, which is the website or the database. And step 3, the waiter brings the food, the data, right back to your table. You don't need to know how the kitchen works behind the scenes at all. You really just need to know how to give the waiter a precise order. So, if the API is our waiter in this scenario, I've got a question for you to think about as we transition back to our software. Where exactly does the n8n HTTP request node fit into this whole picture? Well, the answer is that the HTTP request node is our smart customer. It's the piece of our automation that's sitting right there at the table. A smart customer knows exactly what they want to order, they give the right, highly specific instructions to the waiter, and then they patiently wait for the response. In our enterprise workflow, this specific node is what we use to format our request perfectly, ensuring the API waiter never, ever gets our order wrong. Moving right along to Section 3, introducing the SERP API. Now that we actually know how to place our order, we have to decide which restaurant we're ordering from. For this, we are going to use the SERP API, and you might be wondering, why that one? Well, in enterprise workflow design, relying on just a single website's limited API is a massive single point of failure. We want the whole internet. SERP API lets us fetch and structure search results from Google in real time. It searches the entire spectrum of Google results, finds events from any source, not just the few we subscribe to, and it completely bypasses those frustrating limits you get with single website APIs. Honestly, this is exactly how you achieve real-time, scalable event discovery. All right, Section 4, Configuring the HTTP request. It is time to open up the n8n interface and finally get our hands dirty. First, you'll want to look over to the right side of your screen and click that little Nodes panel plus icon. Just type HTTP request right into the search bar and drop that node into your canvas. Now, as a standard best practice for workflow maintenance, you should immediately rename this node to Fetch Events. Trust me, using clear naming conventions will save you hours of debugging later on. Finally, just click and drag a line to connect your existing schedule trigger straight into the input of this brand new node. Okay, so now we need to configure our smart customer using what are called parameters. Think of these as the highly specific instructions we're giving to our API waiter. We've got engine, which we'll set to Google Events. We have Q, which is our specific query, basically what events do we actually want to find. We have HL and GL, which stand for language and country codes to localize our results. And crucially, absolutely crucial here, our API key. That is our secure authentication credential. Without the key, the waiter simply will not take our order. So the big question is, how do we get all these parameters into n8n efficiently? We're going to use a fantastic shortcut called a curl command. Step 1, head over to your SERP API dashboard, select the Google Events API, scroll down just a bit, and copy that entire curl command they provide. Step 2, jump right back to your n8n HTTP request node and look near the top of the settings for a button labeled Import Curl. Step 3, literally just paste what you copied and hit import. Boom! n8n automatically populates all of those parameters for you. It's a lifesaver. Finally, step 4, just tweak the Q parameter to whatever you want. For the sake of this explainer, let's set it to AI Tech Events in India. Next up is Section 5, Merging Data and Updating. Okay, so we've got our RSS feeds happily pulling articles, and we have our brand new HTTP request node pulling live events. Now it is time to bring these data streams together. Go ahead and open up the existing merge node in your workflow. Previously, it was merging 2 inputs. You simply need to change the number of inputs from 2 to 3. What this does is open up a third connection point on the node, allowing you to easily wire in your new Fetch Events HTTP node. But wait, hold on a second. Before we rush right to the final AI summary step, we need to talk enterprise maintenance best practices. Testing is mandatory. First, you need to execute the HTTP request node entirely on its own. Check the output. Are you actually getting a valid event data payload? Is the formatting correct? Only once you can confirm that the data is completely pristine should you verify that all 3 sources merge smoothly together. Testing everything in isolation like this prevents massive headaches down the line. Once that data is perfectly merged, it hits our Gemini AI node. And here is where we apply our final prompt updates. We need to give the AI strict formatting rules. I'm talking headline in all caps, summary in 1 to 2 sentences. We're also going to add a fallback. So if no events are found, it should gracefully output no AI events scheduled this week. We instruct it to keep things professional, keep it concise, and to sign off as your AI intelligence team. Remember, strict prompts equal clean, reliable, enterprise-ready outputs every single time. And finally, Section 6, the final newsletter transformation. This right here, this is the massive return on investment of what we just built together. You used to spend, 30 minutes manually browsing multiple websites, checking your subscribed feeds, and trying to Google local events? Now, we've completely reduced that down to a 2-minute, highly personalized, real-time newsletter delivered straight to your inbox. We took the baseline reliability of RSS and combined it with the limitless, live discovery power of the SERP API, all orchestrated perfectly by n8 and summarized brilliantly by Gemini. It's a real game changer. Which leaves me with a final, provocative question for you all. Now that you know exactly how to command the API waiter, what other real-time data could you fetch to supercharge your workflows? Are we thinking financial data, weather alerts, maybe even live competitor analysis? The entire live internet is literally at your fingertips right now. If you found this enterprise automation breakdown helpful, please remember to hit that like button, share this with a colleague, and subscribe to the channel so we can continue exploring how to engineer smarter, faster systems together. Thank you so much for learning with me today, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.